How can we get what we want? Today's video is all about helping you to see the easiest way to get what you want. Now, it's pretty straightforward and you might be surprised at what you see, so be sure to stay to the end. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell. I'm Kim Marie, and I am a life and leadership coach for women in transition seeking to live the life they know is possible. Now, getting what we want, I've had many videos about getting what we want, about knowing what you want, and it makes perfect sense that in order to get what we want, we really do need to know what we want, right? We have to have a clear picture in our minds of what we want. But that's not necessarily the easiest way to get it, okay? This video isn't so much about determining what you want as it is about actually getting what you want. And so I want to start with a little story or a little scenario to paint a picture here, okay? Maybe it's the end of your long day, your work day, whatever your work is. Maybe you've been running the kids here, there, and everywhere and doing a million things, volunteering at the school, whatever it is. Or maybe you have had a long day in your business and, talking, lots of appointments, lots of paperwork, lots of questions and coordinating and marketing efforts, or whatever it is that you're doing in your business. Or maybe, you are coming home from work at the end of the day and you've had this long day filled with all kinds of maybe meetings or tasks or difficult phone calls and whatnot. And you're kind of exhausted, right? And yet you come home and dinner has to get made. You need to eat. And you're wondering about getting this done, and you start to head to the kitchen, and then your partner comes home and sees you chopping away and getting this out, getting that out, starting to get the pots onto the stovetop or whatever it is that you're doing to prepare dinner. And, you barely say anything because you're just overwhelmed, you're exhausted. And maybe you're even slamming some of the cabinets around or just going, oh my God, the laundry has to get done. I have to get this done before the end of the day or before, I go to sleep tonight. And oh, right, after dinner, I've got to run this errand. And you're saying all these things to your partner and doing all these things. But inside, you're kind of wondering, okay, why isn't he helping me? Why isn't he helping me prepare this dinner and getting, the dishes on the table to serve the meal, or helping me chop these vegetables, or whatever it is that you're doing, right? And you're wondering, why isn't this happening? Why am I not getting what I want? Why is this not possible, okay? Or maybe, I'm gonna give two scenarios. So there's that one. Maybe you also have had a situation where you've asked him to do something, or you've asked your kids to do something, and you wonder, why is this still not done? My God, I've asked like 3 times. Why is this not getting done? Okay. And you wonder, why can't I get what I want, right? You want this to get done, you want something to happen, but it's not happening, and you're wondering why. All right. These scenarios, these scenes are all too common. I bet you recognize yourself in them. If you do, leave a note in the comments, just validating for everyone else, or leave your own scenario of a situation that you run through, that you sit there thinking to yourself, I am not getting what I want here. Things are not working out here. This is not happening for me here, okay? I want to paint this picture because this is almost a daily picture for many people, right? Many women struggle with this. They feel like they're doing everything they can, working so hard, and yet still not getting what they want. Things aren't happening, all right? So yes, we need to know what we want. We need to be clear that we want help chopping some vegetables, or we want help taking the trash out, or we want, the specific things done that we want our kids to do, like clean their room, and exactly how. But the problem is, and this is where it's actually an easy way to get what you want if you know how to do it, is that we don't know how to actually request what we want. We don't know how to actually ask for what we want. First of all, many of you might be saying, I shouldn't have to ask. They should know that dinner's getting prepared and they should just dive in and help. Or if I've already asked a few times, I shouldn't have to ask again. I'm not going to disagree with you in the sense of the idea that it would be nice if they would know. However, if we are going to live our lives thinking other people can read our minds, or that they should know this or they should do that, we are going to constantly come up short and feel disappointed, all right? This video is going to go into my communication playlist because this piece I'm going to teach you right now it changed my entire life. It literally is that powerful for getting what you want. And it is the power of a simple request. Now you think, oh my God, I've already asked. And like you gave this example of you ask and you ask and you ask and it doesn't get done. That's because most people don't know how to make an effective request, okay? Now there are certain elements of the request. First of all, yes, you do have to be clear about what it is you want, right? Do you want the trash taken out? Do you want the vegetables chopped? Do you want the room clean? But here's where we miss, and that is what's called the conditions of satisfaction. In other words, if you want something done, exactly what are your conditions of satisfaction? How do you want it done? When do you want it done? In what way do you want it done? What are your specifications, all right? Because sometimes people will do things for us and they'll say they got it done, and then we go and we look and the room's not clean the way we wanted it to be, the vegetables aren't chopped the way we wanted it to be, things didn't happen the way we wanted, and we feel like we end up going back and redoing it, right? Doing it again ourselves. Like, oh, why bother to ask for help because it never gets done anyway? And that's a trap that we fall into, all right? And we're never gonna get the help we want if we don't learn how to detail clearly our conditions of satisfaction, all right? And then we have to actually make the request with those details. Here's what I want in this way, by this time, in this manner, right? We have to detail exactly what we want and how we want it, the conditions under which we want it done, all right? And here's another piece that is so frequently missed. We need to wait and get the actual commitment of the person we're asking. If we are running out the door saying to our kid, make sure your room's clean before I get done, and then we close the door, or before I get back, and we close the door and we leave, and we come back and the room's not clean, and we're frustrated, we're angry. Why did they not get this done? Why can't I get what I want, right? One, we didn't exactly specify the details of what we want or how we want it done. We did not clarify the conditions of satisfaction. Like, maybe we said, okay, get it done by the time I get back, but what exactly do you want them to do? How do you want them to do it? What are the expectations of that? And most importantly, we did not get their commitment. We yelled a request and we walked out the door, and we did not make sure they heard us. We did not make sure they understood our conditions of satisfaction. And then we come back and we wonder why it wasn't done. Okay? So, and the final piece of this idea of an effective request is follow through, okay? If you make a request and you want something to get done, and then you don't follow through to see if it got done, and then maybe a week later, you notice something didn't get done, then you haven't followed through to make sure. And follow through is important, not just to make sure it got done, but to express gratitude for when it does get done, to let people know, hey, I'm really grateful that you did that thing for me. Thank you for making that happen. And that's going to change a lot in terms of how much people are going to be willing to do things for you in the future, right? So what I want to offer here is to paint a picture now of what it would look like, all right? You're in the kitchen, you've had this long day, your partner comes home and you say, you know what, I'm so tired, I could really use some help chopping these vegetables. I need them chopped into roughly, 1/2-inch cubes because I'm making soup and that's the size I would like it. Here's a cutting board, here's a knife. Would you help me chop this in this way? And can you work on it now while I'm working on this other thing so that we can have dinner in the next half hour or whatever it is, right? And then you wait and they say, oh, sure, I'd be happy to help you. And they might say, well, just let me take my coat off, or just let me get my shoes off, or let me go to the bathroom quick first, or whatever it is, right? And so now you've asked for what you want, you've told them how you want it, you've let them know even when you want it, so your conditions of satisfaction are clear. You've made the request, you've gotten their commitment, and then you need to follow through. You're doing your thing, and then you look over there and you notice, oh, look at that cutting board full of vegetables so nicely chopped in the size that I want them. And you put them into your pot of soup or whatever you're making, and you turn and you follow through and you say, thank you so much for helping me. That was a huge help. I really appreciate that. First of all, your partner's going to be happy to help you the next time. Second of all, They're going to feel like they, were acknowledged and seen, and you are going to feel like you got what you wanted. Okay? Now you could say, well, but he sees me cooking. He sees me in the kitchen. Shouldn't he know that this stuff needs to happen? Like, he knows that vegetables need to be chopped in order to go into the soup. Maybe. Okay? And that could be a video for another topic around the difference in masculine and feminine. But what I will say is the masculine has a very focused awareness, whereas the feminine has a very diffuse awareness. Okay? So if you think that your partner should know what needs to be done because they see it, right? Or they know that soup has vegetables in it. The truth of the matter is, they really don't see it. Your partner might come home thinking all he wants is to eat dinner. That's it. He's not seeing what goes into making dinner. He just wants to eat, right? Or he needs to use the bathroom or whatever it is. That's where his focus is going to be. He's not going to be thinking about the fact that the vegetables need to be chopped into half-inch cubes. He's just not. And if you can give up on that idea that they should know, you're going to alleviate yourself from a lot of suffering and a lot of frustration. All right, the other piece I want to throw in here at the end is that when it comes to making an effective request to get what you want, sometimes the request, what you're asking for, needs to be a little bit negotiated, okay? And I kind of threw that in there in the example, in that maybe your partner says, sure, I'll chop them, I just need to go to the bathroom first. That's a form of negotiation. That's a form of saying, yes, but I need to do this first, or I need to do it in this way. Or maybe he'll say, oh, you left this knife and cutting board out for me, but I really like this knife, is that okay that I use that? And if you have a solid reason that it's not okay, or that it's not going to work, you can present that to him at that time. But the point is to be clear about what you need and what you want. Actually make the request with your conditions of satisfaction. Get the commitment from the person you're asking so that you know it's going to be done, and follow through. That is the absolute easiest way to get what you want. I promise you, it changed my entire life. The way that I learned to ask my sons for what I wanted and needed, the way that I learned to ask for help from others and be clear about what I wanted and needed, even the way in which I started to plan things and invite people into my world as far as activities I was planning or events that I wanted to do. I painted a clear picture, and I was clear that this situation is for these kinds of people and this kind of commitment, or like even programs that I offer. I will tell people up front, don't join this program if you're not genuinely committed to transforming your life and to shifting your world. Don't do it, right? That's a condition of satisfaction. I might request that they check out my page for, say, my Solace program or my Sacred Nights of Winter journal or something like that. But the page needs to detail what it is about, who it's for, why it's going to be of benefit, and then invite them, obviously, to enroll or make a purchase. But they know what it's about, right? They know the conditions. They know that they need to show up at this time for the meetings, or they need to participate during this time for the event, or whatever it is. It's very similar, but we don't transfer that, right? If you were at work scheduling a meeting, you wouldn't just say, hey, we're going to have a meeting next week, and expect that everybody knows when it is, where it is, how it's going to be, who it's for, what it's going to be about. You would give them details. A request is the same. If you want to get something to happen, and in the realm of communication, language is generative. It's what makes things happen in our life. So if you want to make something happen, you have to be detailed about it. And if you want to get what you want, you need to make effective, clear requests. All right, I hope this was super helpful. Leave a note in the comments. Be sure to subscribe. Let other people know about this. If you have a friend that's been struggling with getting what they want, tell her about this video. Hopefully it can prove helpful. I invite you to practice it and come back and tell me the experience. Literally, maybe today when a friend comes home or a colleague, you're interacting with, and you have a request, see if you can think about this and remember these steps and practice it. Try it out, and then come back and leave in the comments what happened for you. I can't wait to hear more, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.